Hi, this is NonyasisChat again. I'm here with the second part of Shayla and Tamara at Day's house. Now, they decided to go out in the backyard, just Shayla and Tamara, because Tamara decided she needed to talk to Shayla. It's a little late, I did think, but she wants to go outside and tell Shayla that Amber doesn't want her there. Messy, right? She's going to be messy pot in my book pretty soon. She found it necessary to take loudmouth Shayla outside to tell her Amber doesn't want you here. Why didn't you tell her that before she even got in the car to drive you? You could have took an Uber. So she tells Shayla, and Shayla's like, well, I never want to leave here. She wants to stay. She loves Dave's house. I'm sure she does. And Tamara, you take her outside to tell her Amber doesn't want her there. It's a little late. You already brought the bottom feeder with you. Tamara, what is wrong with you? I think Tamara is messy. There is no reason to tell Shayla at this point that Amber didn't want her there. And Shayla's like, well, why not? I'm the podcast person. I invited Amber. This has nothing to do with the podcast. This has to do with you stealing people's men. And Tamara, you better hope she doesn't steal Jarvis. Yeah, or King. The next man that comes for you. And who knows, Shayla may very well end up with Wayne. Say what you might, Shayla and Wayne are savages. They deserve each other. So, Shayla's like, well, why wouldn't she want me here? I brought her into the podcast. Yeah, you brought her into the podcast, but that doesn't mean you need to come to her man's house. They don't equate. Shayla, the only life you have is the podcast. Shayla has no idea that she ruined Amber's life. You know why? Because Shayla and Anthony, they don't want to remember the dirt that they did to Amber. Why Amber's even talking to Shayla anymore is beyond me. We do know that Amber wants to introduce her brand, and she's going to use the podcast for it. Okay? If I were Amber, I'd start my own podcast. But these two are in the backyard, and Tamara decides, I need to tell Shayla that Amber doesn't want her here. So what, you think Shayla's going to get in her car and leave? Is that what you're thinking, Tamara? No, Tamara, you're just being messy. Don't tell her I told you this. That's the messy sign right there. When somebody says, don't tell her I told you. Why are you telling her? Why, Tamara? Why? For what? What did that gain? This is a prime example of a person that you really need to be careful of. As sweet as Tamara is messy. Messy. She didn't need to take Shayla outside to tell her that. What, Shayla just wants to see some drama? Tamara wants to see drama? So, of course, Shayla gets in her feelings. Well, why not? We could have all of our podcast meetings here. This is how Shayla thinks. She wants to hang out at Dave's house now because it's so beautiful and nice. Only these Skitland bored women, bored girls, whatever they are. So Tamara is trying to explain to Shayla why Amber probably doesn't want Shayla at Dave's house. You know, Shayla said, well, why? She's always at my house. Amber, you need to stay away from Shayla, period. You know she's not rap tight. Why am I not okay at Dave's house? Because you're a bottom feeder, and you will steal any man that you think makes more money than the man you are currently with. Tamara was messy. Why, Tamara? Why did you need to take her outside to tell her that? But Shayla, she has no idea why Amber doesn't want to be bothered with her. But that's in the past. That baby is not in the past. It makes no sense other than messy and petty and selfish. Both of them. Tamara, why didn't you just say, I'm going to reschedule our meeting and let's go? That would have been the better thing to do. Seeing that Amber was upset when you guys got there and she saw Shayla. Even though on the way over, she was on the phone and Amber did hear her. So that was my bad for forgetting that. But it's not too late to cancel. Tamara is not friends with Amber. Amber has a tendency to want to be your friend. But these people she hangs out with, they're not trying to be your friend, Amber. When is Amber going to wake up and see that? Doesn't look like it in this video. This skit shows Tamara back there trying to cover her behind as usual. Tamara is all about Tamara. Like it or not, Tamara is about Tamara. She doesn't care about Amber's husband getting a baby by Shayla. That's why she's friends with her. Because that doesn't bother Tamara. It didn't affect Tamara directly. And Shayla's sitting there with her tatas hanging out. Talking about, well, she comes to my house all the time. I put her on the podcast. The podcast, that's because that's the only thing Shayla has to do. Is dress up, sit around thinking, Amon's coming, I hope he never comes back. Never. Or catches Delicia with him. Yeah, I do want them to get caught. And I want them to get caught by Shayla. Because maybe this kind of scene, maybe it won't happen again. Shayla needs to learn to stay away from other people's men. And I don't even think Shayla understands that. Because Angelina has put it in Shayla's brain that she deserves to go up, 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 up. Now I'm getting ahead of myself, but I guarantee you, Shayla is going to run and tell Angelina about Amber's rich new man. So, all this taking her outside is just messy, Tamara. Something you did not need to do. And now, I'm going to put a label on Tamara. It's called troublemaker. Because every time she opens her mouth, she's doing something messy. Messy pie. That's what I'm calling Tamara right now. And Shayla, you need to take yourself home. If Amber is uncomfortable with you being in that house, why can't you say, let's do this at my house? Because you're no friend of Amber's. You want her friendship back, but you'll never be Amber's friend. These kinds of happenings just keep happening around Shayla. It doesn't matter who it is. As long as Shayla's not being affected, her man's not being affected, doesn't matter to Tamara as long as Tamara's not affected. These two females are snakes. Tamara doesn't even know she's a snake. She's a baby snake. Shayla, I love this house. I bet you do, boo. If I was Amber, I would definitely tell them, let's reschedule this for somewhere else. But so Shayla decides she's upset now that Amber doesn't want her there. So she's going to go inside and check Amber. So, what did I do? I put her on the podcast. Yeah, you also had a baby by her husband. Thanks, Tamara. You just ignited another bomb. You feel good about yourself? Now Shayla thinks she's going to go give Amber a piece of her mind. If Amber were to give her a backhand, and I don't condone fighting, if she were to put Shayla out of her house, she would be definitely within her rights. The foolishness that they put up with from Shayla and from Tamara and Amber. Why are you strong sometimes, weak other times? You'll come out with snappy little things to say. So let's see what Amber has to say when Shayla decides she's going to go check Amber because Amber doesn't want her at her house. All of this could have been avoided by Tamara minding her own business. You took her there, now you want to go outside and tell her, well, Amber really didn't want you here. Well, what did you bring her for? What?